Spider-Man: Edge of Time.
Spider-Man: Edge of Time.
Similar to Spectacular Spider-Man, or what?
In portrayal, somewhat similar. I'd say that the main difference is the dynamic of how the performance is. I kind of want to say that video games, in a way, are almost like the horror movies of storytelling, where everything is like everything is life or death.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a heightened sense of reality to it. I wouldn't say I initially wasn't playing him as young as I was in Spectacular Spider-Man. However, the problem that we ended up running into is that we had Chris Barnes playing 2099, and when I'm speaking in my own voice and acting as Spider-Man, you know, a little bit older, I sounded, I guess, tone-wise and pitch-wise kind of similar to Chris. So
like the Spider-Men were related.
Exactly, like
but they're not.
Both actors that had played Spider-Man.
Right.
Imagine that. So
no.
Yes.
Spider-Man sounds like Spider-Man.
Yes. So he ended up having to pitch his down a bit, and I ended up having to pitch mine up, just so that you could actually hear, okay, this is this guy and this is this guy, because there's a lot of parts, probably most of the game, where you're hearing both of them simultaneously, or not necessarily talking over each other, but in the same scenes, and it would get really confusing if we didn't differentiate that.
So we have past Spider-Man that you're playing. We have future Spider-Man 2099. How are they interacting?
They are interacting through, it's called a quantum causality, and it allows them to basically communicate through like a time equivalent of a wormhole type thing.
That sounds like a headache.
Yeah. It's a lot to wrap your head around, but I think it's going to work out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What superhero would you like to be that you haven't been yet? Besides Wonder Woman, which we already we know you want to be Wonder Woman, but who else would you be?
Honestly, I want to start doing more on-camera stuff. So I don't just want to limit it to voice stuff. I know that Green Lantern in the live-action realm's pretty much already been spoken for as Hal Jordan. Should they ever do any other kind of Green Lantern films that feature somebody, say, like Kyle Rayner, I'd like to give that a shot, live-action. I would also like to do the same with Wolverine when Hugh Jackman gives up the mantle. I'll probably be of the right age. Maybe I still look younger than I am, so I'd probably need to get some facial hair. This took like 2 weeks to grow, and you know Wolverine has a lot more than that. So, well, if it's the Logan one.
What other Wolverine would it be?
I don't know, the non-Logan one, the one that doesn't have all of this, the one wearing the mask.
There's a non-Logan Wolverine. There's
I
only
call
one
the
Wolverine, Josh.
We can argue semantics here. I call the Logan one the one where he's sans mask, sans costume, and sitting in a bar telling you to go F yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's the one I grew up with. That's the one I always say, oh yeah, the Logan one. You know, when you're a kid, you say stuff that doesn't really make sense, and then you have somebody later on come and bust your chops on it. What the hell, man? I thought you were my friend.
Well, we're still friends. It's okay. Josh, it's gonna be okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, I know you're reading a lot of comics on your iPad right now.
Yes.
Because you got your lovely comic reading app.
Yes.
What are you reading?
I'm still working my way through those Green Lantern ones, and I'm actually looking. I'm holding. I still like holding traditional comics. I just started reading the J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man that you gave me like all those years ago.
Several years ago.
Yeah, that I never made it through, but I'm finally getting around to it. It's a
fun run.
This is the thing that happens when you're busy in voiceover, is that just time for anything else goes completely out that way, somewhere where the boats are.